there be a library on Mars? It's hard to imagine human life anywhere besides our planet Earth. We are uniquely adapted to life on this planet, though science fiction has long imagined what life could be like in a galaxy far, far away. What are the human requirements for life on other planets, and how close are we to seeing that future become a reality? Many of the requirements for a journey to another planet are the same as a journey to pioneer a new earthly habitat, and those requirements are the basic human needs for life. We need sources of water, a way to produce food, clean air, especially when it comes to oxygen, shelter to protect us from harmful elements, sanitation and ways to deal with waste, and a method of large-scale power generation. Sources of water on other planets might be less obvious, but they do exist. It can be found in craters, in the clay minerals in some asteroids, and on Mars it can be found within hydrated minerals buried in its old underground glaciers within its regolith, or its soil. Earth's magnetic field protects us from harmful space radiation, so shelter on another planet would need to protect us from that same radiation in a different way, so probably we would need a physical barrier. Some studies have shown that certain carbonaceous asteroids could be used as an effective barrier against space rays. The need for clean air to breathe will require a source of oxygen. If there is an abundant source of water, oxygen can be produced through electrolysis, or it can be produced through atmospheric capture. Growing food away from the planet Earth is difficult, but it is something that scientists have begun experimenting with some success. Food production requires a source of power, and that could be one of the trickier commodities to find in space. But solar power could be a good option. Though we have been thinking about the possibilities for life in other planets for ages, the technology and innovation that will allow us to survive there are not quite fully formed. So what starts out as science fiction might eventually make it possible for us to live in a whole new frontier.
Hi everybody, my name is Chrissy and I'm with the Chattanooga Public Library, and today we have a very special guest with us. So special guest, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Britt. I am a proposal manager and engineer at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland.
Awesome. So NASA, that's pretty big. What do you do there?
So what I do right now actually is I help scientists write proposals to get NASA headquarters to fund their mission, to do the science that they want to do. Now, in the past, I used to be a mechanical engineer and a systems engineer, and I helped design missions, and now I've shifted to where I help scientists develop ideas for their missions.
Awesome. So what kind of missions have you helped with in the past?
So Goddard has a couple of areas of specialty. All of the missions that Goddard does are what they call robotic space missions. So there's no people on the spaceships. They're just robots, satellites, and probes. And Goddard, they do space science, which is like telescopes that look deep into space. They do Earth science missions, which are usually satellites that orbit the Earth and monitor the climate or the water cycle, things like that. And they also do solar and planetary science.
Do you think that at any point in time we will be able to travel and live on another planet as Earthlings?
Yes, I think that it is very realistic that people will be able to live at some point, at least on Mars. I think it's a very attainable goal. I mean, not like today or maybe 10 years from now, but I think permanent bases within the solar system are certainly within the realm of possibility for people. I think when you start asking the question of, will people travel to another star, that starts to get much more questionable just because the distances are so almost unimaginably large between one star and the next. Yeah, but I think definitely, like, I think there will be permanent bases either on the surface of, say, Mars, or, in orbit. I mean, to a certain extent, we've had this sort of semi-permanent presence around Earth in the form of the International Space Station for a long time now. I mean, it's not the same people living there all the time, but I think we'll definitely see that.
No, because everybody that's on the space station, as far as I know, are astronauts.
Right.
So I suppose the idea comes of regular people. Is there going to be a library on Mars?
It gets, I mean, because at least right now, it's so expensive to get things up into space and then set up something elsewhere that only countries and maybe extremely wealthy corporations will be able to establish those bases initially. That I certainly the first ones probably won't have families living there, but possibly I think it's possible. I think as the technology develops, and maybe as these things become more commonplace. I mean, we're talking probably 100 years from now or something, but I think it's possible, yeah. But certainly it is like there are a lot of, we're entering an era now where more than just governments are getting into the business of space. And so I think that is going to open up a lot of possibilities and a lot of, exciting things that'll be happening.
You can always think positive. I have a very serious question.
Okay.
As a NASA employee, I'm hoping you have the insider information.
Okay.
What's going on with the aliens?
It is my personal belief that no aliens have ever visited Earth, but it is also my belief that the universe is so big, and we've already found so many planets orbiting other stars. It seems almost inevitable that somewhere out there are other forms of life somewhere.
Right.
Now, whether we will ever have any contact with them, maybe not. But I think it's almost inconceivable that we're alone here in such a great big universe.
The potential is always out there. So,
Yep.
You got to keep us posted on that.
Yep.
Most important. Well, thank you so much for
Well,
taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us and give us some really fun information. Is there anything else that you can think of that kids, teens, adults, anybody might want to hear from somebody that works at NASA? No pressure.
No pressure. I think I might just say, I think that the scientific research that NASA does is valuable. I mean, it's expensive, and there's always a question of how do you spend precious resources when there are a lot of problems to deal with, and not to say, I just think that discovering these things, learning about how the universe works, helps to inform us about sort of who we are and how our own planet works, and even just the endeavor of trying to learn these things is valuable to society. And I just want to give it a plug. Go science.
Go science. Well, thank you so much again, and hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm sure we'll have other space questions at some point in time.
Good. All right.
All right. Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Bye.
Bye.